Alright, so Ghostcrawler made a post on the League subreddit comparing League of Legends and Dota 2, so you know the conversation in that thread is going to be a civil one. Nonetheless, people devolved into bitching at each other about, what League is superior to and what Dota 2 is superior to and all this other crap. And one of the conversation topics that was brought up was about League's IP gating. And honestly, there was a lot of people defending Riot's gating about of runes and champions and how it's totally fine. And some of the arguments were good, and some of the arguments were stupid. Like the most stupid one I read is about, oh, it doesn't matter. In most seasons, you only have to use 3 champions. That's not exactly a good thing because you want to actually have fun or something. And the big conversation mostly swayed to IP costs for most champions or for runes, especially runes. Think of it this way. Runes are universally necessary. Now, it's even more necessary than before, because as a jungler, back in Season 1 and 2, I actually had videos trying to teach people how to jungle without runes, having no runes, and I even had some videos trying to teach people using Tier 1 runes, because that's all you could possibly afford. But now you desperately need them to jungle, so that means an aspect of the game is gone. Although you could argue that it's important to have because you don't want a new player just jungling. Although, to be fair, you don't really want a new player to be doing anything too dramatic or difficult, like playing the support or the AD carry and having to rely on them, so it might not exactly be the most fair thing to say. Still, though, the other thing that's kind of painful is the rune pages themselves, and I kind of think rune pages should be something you gain when you level up. Give me a few rune pages. Now, I also got to be fair with some of you. Some people who complain about the cost of runes and IP and everything just do so because they want to play a new Smurf. They want to make a new account or whatever. It's dumb. There shouldn't be systems to help you make a new Smurf. There should only be systems to help out new players coming in. Now, I have 2 stories as to what makes this relevant, and well, actually 3 if I count my own. When I was just starting off playing League of Legends when it was in beta, we had no idea what we should do with runes or RAP. So I bought a full set of Tier 1 runes. And then I bought a full set of Tier 2 runes. Those are a huge goddamn waste. And then I bought Tier 3 runes. I was so sad that I found out that I wasted so much IP that I could have used to buy champions or whatever. So yeah, no, there was nothing to actually help me out except Mobile Fire, which has been proven itself to be wrong. So if a new player were to come in here and not know what to buy, you'd see them get a menagerie of runes thinking, oh, I need some armor, I need some health, I need some this and everything. You've probably seen some of those players. Players who just play Smurfs know not to waste their IP on the useless runes, so there's no problem for them. But the new players just don't have that knowledge. Sure, they can go online, but what would they begin to know? You kind of need some sort of like mentor to guide you through the game, but that doesn't exactly, apply to everybody. Now, the first story I have is I tried to get my brother to play this game, and it was sad. For starters, he saw me play and have fun, and he wanted his own MMO or MOBA to play because he kept buying games, burning through them, and then kind of having nothing to do except playing Marvel vs. Capcom or something. So he saw me play League of Legends, and he wanted to get in on it. He's been playing League of Legends at work, and the first champion he tried and liked was Pantheon. He thought it was free, by the way. He didn't understand the concept of free week. And then Pantheon stopped being free, and he's like, whoa, where'd he go? Like, hey, Martin, I've been playing League of Legends, and I hadn't told you because I wanted to be a surprise. And it turns out he, been trying to play Pantheon in any hero, and he'd been having fun with only a few. There was misfortune there, and he didn't like her. I think he tried Maokai, he didn't like him, but he liked Pantheon. And then rotation happened, and he no longer could play him. So, seeing as he was upset, I bought him the starter pack. And he went through a lot of the starter champions, and he only liked a few, but he wanted to try more heroes and more heroes. And the thing is, he couldn't. And the saddest part is, I think he bought Victor, I believe. Yeah, it was Victor that he bought. And, because he just looks bad. Come on, Victor looks like a badass if you see him in this splash part, even before he got the new splash art. And he didn't like him. It wasn't that he didn't like it at all. And he was disappointed because Victor is an expensive hero to purchase. and I think it was 6,300 at the time. So I told him to refund it, and he did. And then he tried out Karthus. He didn't like it, and he refunded it. And I told him he's got one more refund. You probably shouldn't waste it like that. And it's kind of sad. It's like it reminded me of the same thing because surprisingly, I tried Karthus the same way back in back in beta, and there was no refund back then. I tried Karthus because I liked the idea of having this mage that can have a global impact, and I tried him. Turns out I suck at him, and I just burned 6,300 IP, and there was nothing else I can do about it. And that's kind of a pain in the ass to deal with. It's like, it's not that you have to own every champion, but it's that you need to have better ways of figuring out if this champion is for you. It applies to skins and stuff like that too, especially considering it costs real money. It's a lot of people do impulse buys in games like this, especially the younger they are, and it tends to bite them in the ass. Like, there should be some way for you to be able to test out a champion, or at least get your hands on them in maybe even skins, just to see if you actually want them. Not that you've convinced yourself that you want them, because the hype can sometimes cloud your judgment. The other story is kind of a more depressing one, but it got rectified at the end. So when my wife moved to North America, she had to abandon her account in Asia. She couldn't transfer it from the Garena to North America. So she had to try to restart League of Legends from scratch. And that was hell. Hell on earth, mind you. She couldn't she couldn't immediately start playing, right? She had no champions. She was fortunate, I think, that Vive was free that week, so she just spammed by. And then she just bought, like, Elise, and she lost all the rewards she's had. She's lost all her skins. She lost everything. So she had to rebuild her runes and her champions, and she just couldn't find it fun. She was so behind people. She was so behind playing the champions she actually wanted to play. Fortunately for us, Riot was opening up Australian servers, or Oceanic, or whatever they're called, and they allowed you to transfer from Garena to Australian servers, and the Australian servers were able to transfer from Australia to North America. So we transferred her account twice, and she finally was able to play League of Legends again in North America with all her goodies and all her old victorious rewards and whatever. And I think that's important to note. It's just like, this game is only fun if you have the rewards. I mean, some people like the grind, but the grind is a little too heavy for others. I've had problems introducing other people because they just can't get into the fact that they're not able to play everything or even test it out. They can't look at Callista and say, oh, she looks cool, this mechanic seems interesting, I wonder if I can actually get the hang of it. They have to wait until weeks and weeks until she's actually free. Sorry. Clearing my throat. And it becomes even more depressing because my brother gave up on League of Legends because he just could not deal with not having the champions. He couldn't deal with, like, some champions being gone the other day. Like me, you've seen me play. I can't play the same hero over and over. So he can't do that either. As much as he loved Pantheon, he didn't want to. I mean, the only other heroes he could possibly play were Maokai and like a Mumu, and he wasn't interested in those. Instead of just being all sad and stuff, I should offer some suggestions as to how this could improve. And a lot of these suggestions were actually brought to me by the fans on Facebook and even on my YouTube. So basically, the problem with IP right now is that there's a lot of things to buy, and so you just don't gain enough. One of the most common suggestions was that to give you win of the days, the win of the day reward on multiple game modes, Twisted Tree Line, ARAM, Dominion, and whatever. That would actually be a really easy thing to do, in my opinion, and it would help bring populations up for each mode, although it could also bring up the toxicity in each mode. The other suggestion was to make mastery actually mean something. By the time you get to max mastery, or you just gain max mastery on the champion, you get bonus IP and you be happy and all that good stuff. It gives you incentive to play more heroes and try them out. I don't actually know if you gain mastery points for heroes you don't own, that are in free rotation, so I don't know if it applies to them, but this next suggestion requires heroes you don't own to have the mastery system. It would have definitely helped out my brother when he was playing Pantheon, and though the mastery system wasn't available back then. If you play a new hero and you play a hero you don't own several times, and you happen to like them and you get mastery points in them, if you uh, if you want to purchase the hero, the more mastery or more games you've played on them lowers the IP cost of it. So the more games you play, the closer you're bringing that thing down to be able to buy for a cheap amount of IP. My brother would have probably still been playing if he didn't have to dump money on Pantheon. He wasn't available in the bundle I purchased for him, so that was kind of a bummer. So that's one suggestion. The other one is to start off everybody on tier 1 runes from the get-go. Every single tier 1 rune available to you. And either remove tier 2 runes or just kind of split the difference of the cost when you want to upgrade from tier 2 to tier 3. And well, tier 1 and tier 2 as well. So everybody gets to have every tier every rune they want to experiment, to have an idea of what they need to get, and eventually upgrade to tier 3. That's fine and all. Riot does need some way to gate people so they can buy RP and fund the company and whatever. And when it comes to rune pages, this is my biggest gripe. Although to me, I already have all the rune pages I need on my main account. Any smurfs is just me being greedy and an asshole. And anybody who wants more rune pages on their smurf are kind of also being greedy and jerks. For new players, this is something that's necessary. 2 rune pages or 3 rune pages isn't enough to get a lot of things done. I think 4 is the right number, because you want 1 for support, 1 for AP, 1 for physical, and 1 for and 1 for jungle. Or hell, instead of the support one, you can have 1 for an AD carry or something, right? Because they're vastly different from each other. And like, as far as I'm concerned, like, I don't actually have a support page available. I have to jerry rig one of these other pages to work as a support when it comes to that. And of course, new player can do that, but it's not exactly the most appealing aspect for them. Now, there's another game, Heroes of Storm, that has a lot of consumer-friendly aspects to the game. And when you see this next portion, which is purely Heroes of Storm, you'll probably want some of these things into League of Legends. And honestly, I think at this point, League of Legends needs a few of these consumer-friendly items, or whatever they're called. Alright, so this is the Heroes of the Storm main page client thingy, but we're not really talking about the client, we're talking about the IP, or in this case gold system the game has, and how much more convenient it is than leagues. Alright, so here are all the champions. Well, actually, let me click. Here are all the champions in the game currently, or heroes, whatever you want to call them. Now, I'm not even going to lie to you. Heroes in Heroes of the Storm are vastly more expensive than they are in League of Legends. I mean, some of them have similar money cost, but their IP/gold cost is a lot more glaring, especially considering how very little gold you gain per win. However, they try to mitigate this by a few factors, and factors, in my opinion, are really convenient. One of them is the daily system, in which you get a new quest to quest every day, you fulfill it, you get bonus gold, hooray. And then there's these special events thing. Don't get too comfortable with them because they tend to just go away. You get them every day, and you can soar up to 3, and some of them will overlap. Like, I have a Diablo hero one and win 3 games. I can play a Diablo character and win 2 games with her, fulfilling the requirement to, or at least 2 of the win 3 games one, and the Diablo one. So I get to expedite my gold gain, right? So the game sort of rewards you for, well, it doesn't reward you, but it doesn't punish you for not playing that day or whatever, right? And that's not the only thing it does. Now, my player progression, you can see if you start off at level 1, everyone starts off at level 1, obviously, and then you can get to maximum level 40. And every now and then you get bonus rewards, bonus gold, and even a stim pack, which is basically a player boost, so you can amplify how much you gain of both resources. They even say you even get a extra hero rotation slot. You know, your free week, you get another free week kind of character to pick. So it's pretty cool and everything, and you can unlock ranked, sort of like League of Legends, right? But it gets even better, and this is the one that I actually like the most. Now, let's say you really like playing a hero or whatever. If you really like playing a hero like me with Asmodon, getting him levels actually unlocks you prizes, sort of. Well, not prizes. Sort of like the mastery system. You get more talents to pick. Like, it's in this game doesn't require items. You have different talent trees that you build up as you get levels, and they try to start you off easy. Like if you're a low level guy and you're trying a new hero, it tries to streamline you for the first few times you play the hero into the easiest kinds of things to understand. It doesn't matter later on, and you quickly break through that and you could play with all the talents. But either way, where like if you get to level 5, you get bonus gold, level 9 bonus gold, level 15 and 20 bonus gold. So that takes a long time, but this applies to every single hero in the game, including the ones you don't own. Like I don't own Uther. Sorry, let me pick him. I don't own Uther, but I can still unlock his other stuff. I don't own Diablo yet, but I've got the 500 bonus gold for having played him. So it rewards you for trying out new heroes, and since it applies on free week, you're not penalized for not having bought them when you decided to play them. So that's a nice system. It rewards you. And even better yet, like I mean, it still doesn't totally make up for the gold cost being so steep, but this is where some of you will feel pretty envious. In the shop, every hero in the game actually has a try button. You can, even the new champion that comes out, in fact, it even tells you in the front page of the client if you want to try out the hero. You click the button and it takes you to try out the hero. You can try them out, play them. It's a mini sandbox mode where you're at just by yourself, and you get to dictate what happens. You can toggle the minions. You can level your character up several times. Try them out with all the talents, even if you haven't unlocked the talent on the player progression thingy. So you get to try it out, and this is very, very important because if you don't like the champion, you don't have to buy it. Like it's a way to save gold, right? It's a way to save any kind of currency. Like me, I wanted to try, or I wanted to play Tyrael so much, but he wasn't in free week, and I wanted to try him out, and I didn't even know that you could do it in the shop. I wanted to actually buy him. I was thinking to myself, I'm going to dump about $9 onto this character that I have never tried because he seems cool and I like him in Diablo and whatever, but I don't know exactly how he plays. His abilities sound interesting. However, I was able to just go to the shop, find Tyrael, try him out, and find out I didn't actually like the hero. But there's even one more awesome thing about this whole system, is that it allows you to try out heroes with their skins, even their legendary skins. Like, let me find one that was actually pretty cool that you all like. Well, it's not legendary, but actually, let me find a legendary skin. Where's Kerrigan? There you go. I can actually try her out with her legendary skin, and it's all good. The game allows me to do this, and I can find out if I actually am pleased with the skin and would want to buy it or whatever. So, like, all your real money, all your everything, it's really nice and convenient for you, and it allows you to purchase things on stuff you would actually want. And it kind of helps you against impulse buys. Even better yet, there's a cool little feature that is pretty upsetting if you've seen the chroma skins. Every hero in the game gets free chroma skins. You just have to unlock them through player progression. Play the champion enough or hero enough, and you unlock their chroma skins. And this also applies to every skin they own. And it unlocks well, it's individual for every hero, but it unlocks for every single one and for every single skin, as long as you've mastered the champion. And every hero has a master skin that can only be purchased through gold and reaching level 10. So you don't sit on a bunch of IP or gold for no reason once you've reached the pinnacle of all the champions, right? So yeah, this game kind of also applies to mounts. Mounts have chromas too, so there's a lot of value in every little thing. So this game, when it comes to gold and IP and everything, is so convenient because it actually doesn't force you to have to wait to try a champion. It doesn't feed off your impulses. And that's a big issue I have with League of Legends, and with the rune gating, with the rune page gating, and the champion Issa gating. Either way, this was just a rant video, an old school tangent video, and if you agree with me or disagree with me, write your opinions and thoughts on the comments below. By the way, as much as I praised Heroes of the Storm's consumer-friendly stuff, League of Legends is still pretty much a more fun game for me, which means Riot must be doing something right to keep me coming back.